What really happens when an elderly person has no one? The truth may surprise you. Sometimes life doesn't unfold the way we imagine. One day you're surrounded by noise, laughter, the hustle of family and friends coming in and out, and then slowly, things grow quieter. The kids grow up and move away. Friends begin to pass on. Your partner, the one who shared a lifetime of little moments, may no longer be there beside you at the dinner table. Suddenly you find yourself with a house full of memories and silence that's a little too loud. This reality is more common than people like to admit. And while living alone isn't always a sad or lonely thing, it can actually be a powerful choice. The challenges that come with aging without someone by your side can't be ignored. There are practical concerns, like who will help if you fall, or how you'll manage daily tasks when your energy isn't quite what it used to be. And there are emotional ones, that deep human need for connection, for being seen, for being cared for. But here's the truth. Just because no one lives with you doesn't mean you have to live without support. There are ways, real, tangible, empowering ways to stay safe, independent, and deeply connected, even while living alone. It starts with knowledge, with awareness, and with small changes that make a big difference. This conversation matters because the number of elderly people living alone is rising fast. It's not just a statistic. It's your neighbor, your aunt, your old teacher, maybe even you. And while society often paints aging alone as something to be feared or pitied, it doesn't have to be either. There is strength in solitude when it's backed by preparation and purpose. So whether you're tuning in for yourself or for someone you love, this space is for you. We're going to explore 5 powerful ways to stay safe while living alone. Not just to survive, but to truly thrive. Because the wisdom you've gathered over the years, it deserves to be honored. And the life you've built, it still has room to grow. Let's talk about how to make that happen. Number 1, understanding the silent struggle. Life alone in the golden years. There's a quiet kind of bravery in waking up alone each day, especially when you're older. It's not the kind of courage that gets celebrated with applause or medals. It's the kind that shows up in small ways, making your own breakfast when your hands ache a little more than they used to, managing doctor's appointments, medications, finances, and chores, all without a second pair of eyes to double-check or a voice in the next room to ask, "Did you remember to take your pills?" The world tends to focus on the more visible aspects of aging, the gray hair, the slower steps, the stories about back in the day. But there's a side to growing older that isn't talked about enough. What it feels like when the phone doesn't ring for days, when holidays pass by quietly, when there's no one to check if you made it home safely, when you're still here, still capable, but invisible to the fast-moving world around you. Living alone can feel empowering, and for many seniors, it is. It's independence, it's freedom, it's being in control of your own space and time. But behind that independence can also sit a kind of loneliness that's hard to describe. It doesn't always look like sadness. Sometimes it looks like silence, or like talking out loud to yourself more than you used to, just to fill the quiet. Sometimes it shows up in the way dinner becomes a sandwich on the aches, not because you can't cook, but because you don't see the point of setting the table for one. The emotional weight of solitude can creep in slowly. Studies show that prolonged loneliness in seniors can lead to serious health issues, higher risk of heart disease, weakened immune function, depression, even cognitive decline. But loneliness doesn't always come from being physically alone. It comes from feeling like you're no longer needed, no longer seen. And then there's the practical side. What happens if you fall and can't get up? If a sudden illness hits and there's no one there to notice? It's not about living in fear, but it is about being realistic. Because aging alone means taking on every responsibility solo, unless you actively build a support system around you, even if it looks different than what you expected. Not everyone ends up alone because they chose it. Sometimes life just leads you there. A spouse passes, children live far away, friendships drift. But even if the path to living alone wasn't intentional, the way you move forward from here can be. And it starts with understanding. Not just the risks, but the strengths you already have, the choices you still get to make, and the tools that can keep you safer and more connected. This isn't about doom and gloom. It's about naming the reality so that you can own it, and then build a new kind of life within it. Because the truth is, the golden years don't have to lose their shine just because you're walking them alone. Number 2, creating a safety-first home environment. Let's be honest, your home should be your safest place. But when you're aging alone, that same familiar space can slowly turn into a minefield if you're not paying attention. The rug you've had for 20 years, it might suddenly be a trip hazard. That deep bathtub, it's no longer just relaxing, it's risky. Even the stairs you used to climb without thinking can feel like a mountain some mornings. The good news is that a few thoughtful changes can turn your home into a fortress of comfort, freedom, and most importantly, safety. You don't need to remodel your entire house or spend thousands of dollars to make it safe. Safety starts with awareness, noticing where things could go wrong before they actually do. Start by walking through your space with fresh eyes. Imagine you're seeing it for the first time. Are there wires crossing walkways, cluttered hallways, dim lighting? All of these are things you can control, and they make a huge difference. Let's talk lighting for a second. It sounds simple, but poor lighting is one of the top causes of falls at home. Swapping out bulbs for brighter LEDs, adding night lights in hallways, or installing motion sensor lights in the bathroom can help you avoid dangerous stumbles in the middle of the night. This isn't about overreacting. It's about outsmarting potential problems before they happen. Then there are grab bars. Yes, they may scream hospital to some, but in the right places, like next to the toilet or inside the shower, they're life-saving tools, not just accessories. And modern ones? They're sleek, stylish, and come in colors that blend right in. Think of them like a seatbelt. You may not always need it, but when you do, you'll be glad it's there. Now let's bring in some tech. Technology might feel intimidating, but it can be your greatest ally. Smart home devices aren't just for younger generations. A voice-activated assistant like Alexa or Google Home can set medication reminders, control your lights, or even call someone if you can't get to the phone. There are also fall detection systems and medical alert devices that automatically notify emergency services if you need help. Some wear like a watch, others clip onto clothing, but all of them provide peace of mind. And it's not just about big safety moves. Think smaller too. Put frequently used items within easy reach, so you're not climbing on stools. Use non-slip mats in the kitchen and bathroom. Keep a phone in every main room. Not just your cell, but an actual phone that doesn't rely on being charged or remembering where you left it. These are the kinds of adjustments that might seem minor now, but in a moment of crisis, they can be life-saving. And if this all sounds like too much to figure out alone, you don't have to. Many communities offer free or low-cost home safety evaluations through local senior centers or health departments. Let someone walk through your home with you and spot things you might have missed. It's not about taking away your independence. It's about reinforcing it. Your home is still your kingdom, your sanctuary. And with just a few changes, it can also be your safest ally. You've worked hard for the life you've built. Don't let a loose cord or a dark hallway undo all that. Small steps, big peace of mind. That's the power of thinking ahead. Number 3, building a support network without family. There's a common belief that as you age, your circle naturally shrinks, that it's just part of life. Friends move, loved ones pass, families get busy with their own lives. And while that may be true in some ways, It doesn't mean you have to walk this chapter alone. Family doesn't always come from blood. And connection, that's something you can still build, even now. For many elderly people living alone, one of the hardest parts isn't the physical day-to-day. It's the emotional weight of feeling isolated, of having no one to call when something good or bad happens. Humans are wired for connection. It's not about needing constant company, but about knowing someone cares, that someone would notice if you didn't show up one day. If your family is far away, estranged, or simply not able to be present, it's time to get creative and a little brave about building your own village. Start where you are. Your neighborhood isn't just a place to live, it's a potential network. That neighbor you wave to from your porch, strike up a real conversation, offer to exchange phone numbers just in case. You'd be surprised how many people want deeper community, but are just waiting for someone else to make the first move. Then there are senior centers, not dusty halls with bingo cards, but vibrant places full of life, activity, and potential friendships. Many offer meals, group outings, classes, even transportation. Don't write them off. These are people in the same stage of life, with shared experiences, and maybe even the same fears. They get it, and sometimes that's exactly what makes a connection stick. Your spiritual or faith community can also be a goldmine for support. Whether it's a church, temple, mosque, or meditation group, these spaces are often built around caring for one another. Let people know you're open to connection. Ask about check-in programs, volunteer opportunities, or small groups. Even attending regularly gives others the chance to get to know you and to notice if you're suddenly not there. And let's talk about technology for a second. Yes, it can feel overwhelming, especially if it's not second nature, but it's a bridge worth building. Video calls let you see faces. Online communities, whether for gardening, book clubs, or just fellow seniors, offer daily conversation. There are even platforms designed just for older adults, where you can safely connect with people in your area or around the world. The internet doesn't replace in-person interaction, but it can keep you connected between those moments. You can also look into programs like friendly caller services, where volunteers check in with seniors regularly. Some cities have senior buddies programs or visiting volunteer networks. People who come by just to say hello, maybe share a cup of tea. It's not charity, it's connection, and there's no shame in wanting that. But maybe the most powerful way to build a support network is to be part of someone else's. Reach out to another senior you know is alone. Start a walking group, or host a coffee morning. Sometimes, the very thing you're needing is exactly what someone else is missing too. Connection grows quickest when it's mutual. It's true you may not have family nearby, but you still have a voice. You still have something to offer. And you're never too old to make a new friend, to build a new bond, or to become someone's person. Community isn't something you lose with age. It's something you can still create, right where you are, one conversation at a time. Number 4, staying healthy without a caregiver. When you live alone, staying healthy becomes more than just a good idea. It becomes your lifeline. There's no one to nudge you when you forget your pills, or to bring you a bowl of soup when you're under the weather. There's no one checking to make sure you're eating well, staying active, or going to your doctor's appointments. It's all on you. And while that sounds daunting, it's also empowering, because it means you have the power to take control of your health on your terms. Let's start with the basics. Food. It might not seem like a big deal to skip a meal or have toast for dinner a few nights in a row. But over time, poor nutrition can sneak up on you. It affects your energy, your mood, your immune system, even your memory. The trick isn't fancy recipes or spending hours in the kitchen. It's about simple, balanced meals you can put together without a lot of fuss. Think frozen vegetables you can steam in minutes, canned beans packed with protein, pre-cooked grains, or rotisserie chicken that can stretch for days. Stock up on things that are easy, nutritious, and ready when you are. If cooking feels overwhelming, meal delivery services designed for seniors can be a game changer. Some are even covered by insurance or offered through community programs. And let's not forget about local churches or nonprofits. Many provide hot meals or grocery drop-offs for seniors living alone. Don't be shy about using them. These services exist because you matter. Now about medication. Keeping track of pills, dosages, and refill dates can be confusing, especially if you're juggling multiple prescriptions. A simple pill organizer, the kind with compartments for each day, can make a big difference. So can setting alarms on your phone or using a voice assistant to remind you. There are also medication reminder services that will call or text you daily, and even smart pill dispensers that alert you when it's time to take something. These aren't luxuries. They're tools for independence. Exercise is another pillar of health that often gets lost when you're on your own. You don't need to join a gym or take up jogging. Movement can be as simple as stretching for 10 minutes every morning, walking around the block, or following gentle chair yoga on YouTube. What matters most is consistency. Moving your body regularly helps with strength, balance, circulation, and even sleep, and it boosts your mood in a way that few things can. Health isn't just about the physical side either. Your mental and emotional well-being play a huge role. If you're feeling anxious, down, or simply off, it's okay to talk to someone about it. Many therapists specialize in working with seniors and offer sessions over the phone or video. You can also look into support groups, both in person and online, for people going through similar experiences. And let's not forget about preventative care. It's easy to let appointments slide when no one's around to remind you. But staying on top of checkups, screenings, eye exams, and dental visits is crucial. Keep a calendar. Set reminders. Some local clinics even offer transportation if getting there is a barrier. Taking care of small things now helps you avoid bigger issues later. Living without a caregiver doesn't mean you're without care. It just means you're in the driver's seat. And with the right tools, routines, and support, you can steer your health in the direction you want to go. You've already lived through so much. This chapter is about honoring that strength by doing what it takes to protect it. One meal, one walk, one checkup at a time. You've got this. Number 5, embracing the power of purpose and routine. There's something deeply grounding about having a reason to get out of bed in the morning, even if no one else is around to see it. Living alone doesn't mean your life has to be quiet or empty. In fact, this might be the chapter where you finally get to live on your own terms, where every decision, every moment, every habit is chosen by you, for you. And that, in itself, is a kind of freedom most people never get to fully explore. But freedom without direction can turn into drift. That's where routine and purpose come in, two powerful forces that can give structure, joy, and meaning to your days. Not just to fill time, but to make the time feel yours again. Let's start with purpose. It doesn't have to be grand. You don't need to volunteer in every community program or start a new career. Purpose can be as simple as tending to your garden, writing letters to old friends, mentoring a younger neighbor, or keeping a journal of your thoughts and stories. It might be walking to the mailbox every day, feeding the birds outside your window, or finishing a book you've been meaning to read. The key is that it matters to you, that it gives you a sense of forward motion, a reason to care about tomorrow. Purpose also grows when you feel like you matter. And one of the best ways to feel that again is to contribute. Maybe it's helping at your local library or church. Maybe it's joining a senior advisory board in your community, or calling another senior once a week, just to check in. When you're part of something, even something small, it reminds you that your presence still makes a difference. Now let's talk about routine. When you live alone, time can start to feel loose. The hours blur, days pass quickly or drag depending on your mood or the weather. Creating a daily rhythm, even a simple one, gives your life shape. Wake up around the same time, start the day with a ritual. Maybe it's stretching, drinking a cup of tea, or reading a daily devotion or newspaper. Have meals at consistent times. Build little anchors throughout your day that your mind and body can count on. You might decide to dedicate Monday mornings to laundry and Friday afternoons to a phone call with a friend. Maybe Tuesday is your outside day where you go for a walk or run an errand. Routine doesn't have to be rigid. It just gives you a soft framework to move through your days with intention instead of drifting. And don't forget play. Joy isn't just for the young. Laughter, hobbies, music, art. These are essentials, not extras. Revisit something you used to love. Painting, knitting, puzzles, cooking, photography, dancing in the kitchen, while the radio plays your favorite song. The spark of life doesn't disappear with age. Sometimes it just needs an invitation to come out again. You've earned this chapter. After decades of caring for others, working, surviving hardship, building your world, now you get to shape what this season looks like. Don't let anyone, not even your past self, define what's possible. Living alone doesn't have to feel like waiting. It can be active, rich, and deeply fulfilling. Purpose gives you a reason. Routine gives you rhythm. And together they give you the power to not just exist through your days, but to actually live them. Because no matter your age, your story isn't finished yet. And every day is a blank page, waiting for what you decide to write on it. Number 6. Preparing for emergencies while living alone. Let's be real. When you live alone, there's no one in the next room to call your name if something goes wrong. No one to hear the thud if you fall. No one to notice if you've been quiet too long. That's not something to fear, but it is something to plan for, because being prepared for emergencies doesn't make you paranoid. It makes you powerful. Emergencies can take many forms. A medical scare, a fall, a fire, a power outage, even something as simple as locking yourself out of the house. When you're on your own, those moments can go from inconvenient to dangerous fast. But with a few smart moves, you can put a safety net in place that protects your independence and gives you and your loved ones peace of mind. Let's start with the most important thing: communication. Every person living alone should have an emergency contact list. That's easy to find. Not on your phone, not hidden in a drawer. A printed copy, in big letters, taped to your fridge or wall near the phone. It should include names, numbers, and relationships. Your doctor, a trusted neighbor, nearby family or friends, maybe even your pharmacist. In an emergency, you might not be the one making the call. Someone else might need to do it for you. Now let's talk tech. Medical alert systems have come a long way. We're not talking about clunky devices or cheesy commercials anymore. Many are sleek, wearable, and smart. Some even detect falls automatically and call for help without you needing to press a button. There are watches that track your heart rate, smart rings that monitor your movement, and devices that can detect changes in your routine, like if you didn't get out of bed that day, and alert someone to check in. These tools aren't signs of weakness. They're signs of wisdom. Even something as simple as always carrying your phone with you, even from the living room to the bathroom, can be a lifesaver. Accidents don't give warnings. A slip in the shower, a dizzy spell, a sudden pain, it's in those moments that having a plan becomes everything. Emergency preparedness also means thinking ahead about the what-ifs. Most people try to avoid. What if there's a fire? Do you know the safest exits in your home? What if the power goes out during a storm? Do you have flashlights in every room, extra batteries, a fully charged power bank for your phone? What if your neighborhood is hit with severe weather? Are your medications easy to grab in one bag, along with a few essentials? It's not fun to think about, but doing it once now saves you panic later. And if you need help creating a plan, your local fire department, senior center, or health agency can often help you put one together. Even do a home visit to walk through safety steps. Then there's legal preparedness, the quiet stuff most people avoid until it's too late. Do you have a power of attorney? A living will? Who knows your wishes if something serious happens? These documents aren't just paperwork, they're protection. They let you keep control even if you can't speak for yourself. If you don't have them yet, talk to a lawyer or look for free clinics in your area that help seniors get them done. Lastly, think about the little things. Keep a spare key with a trusted neighbor or in a lockbox with a code. Make sure your house number is clearly visible from the street in case an ambulance needs to find you. Label your medications. Keep a flashlight by your bed. Create layers of security so you're never relying on just one thing to keep you safe. Living alone doesn't mean being alone in an emergency. Not if you prepare now. It means trusting yourself enough to build a plan, to set up your space, your tools, your community in a way that backs you up when life gets unpredictable. Because the goal isn't just to be independent. The goal is to stay safe while being independent. And that's not just smart, it's powerful. Conclusion: living alone, living strong. There's a quiet kind of courage in facing each day on your own. Not everyone sees it, not everyone understands it, but it's there in every solo grocery run, every cup of tea made for one, every night spent in your own home without anyone else under the roof. It takes strength, it takes resilience, and most of all, it takes intention. We've talked about 5 powerful ways to stay safe and thrive while living alone in your later years. Understanding the emotional and practical challenges is the first step. It lets you name what you're facing without shame. Then, creating a safety-first home environment gives you the physical protection you need. Building a support network, even without family, reminds you that connection is still possible and still essential. Taking charge of your health without a caregiver puts the power of well-being in your hands. Preparing for emergencies gives you confidence that you won't be caught off guard. And embracing purpose and routine turns each day from something to get through into something to look forward to. But none of this is about perfection. It's not about having everything figured out or being completely self-sufficient. It's about knowing you can do this and doing it with grace, with wisdom, and at the kind of quiet pride that only comes from a life fully lived. You're not a burden, you're not forgotten, you are still writing your story and it still matters. Maybe even more now than ever. You've lived through decades of change, challenge and growth. And now, in this season, you have the chance to live by your own rules, to protect yourself, care for yourself, and create a life of depth, safety and meaning. One day at a time. If you or someone you love is living alone and aging, know this: you are not invisible. You are not alone in this experience. And there are people, tools and resources that can walk with you, even if they're not under the same roof. So take a step, maybe a small one. Call a neighbor, rearrange your furniture for safety, set a reminder to drink more water, sign up for that community class you've been eyeing. Your independence isn't something to fear losing. It's something to protect and celebrate. This isn't the end of the road. It's just another chapter, and it can be one of your strongest yet. Keep going. You're doing better than you think.